I like to describe things in a story. I feel like people learn a lot better as a storyteller more than concepts and concrete facts. So I think Gino Wickman describes this better than anybody else I've ever heard. And if you haven't heard of Gino Wickman, he wrote the book Traction. I actually think I have it right here. He goes, imagine that you have the most productive team, right? Your business is to cut through a jungle, and you have the most productive team, the fastest tree cutters, the fastest ground leveler that you ever have. They're led by the best management team. They have really good core values, and everybody just seems to get along. It's a well-oiled machine, right? And you start cutting the jungle, and your goal is to cut a straight line through that jungle, right? And you start, but nobody is climbing on top of the tree on an occasional basis to see, are you going the right way, right? So your team now starts cutting the jungle, and days goes by, months goes by, years goes by, and you realize you never accomplished your goal. You just kind of went around in circles because the jungle is so massive. So all of these things, they're puzzle pieces of each other, right? You need to start with a purpose. You need to have good values. You need to have the right people. But if you don't have a vision of where you're going, and if you're not tracking that vision on a weekly basis, quarterly basis, annual basis, you might realize that you've hired the right people, you've had the right team, but you've been going in the wrong direction the entire time. And what ends up happening is, if you don't do that, eventually that team that is so motivated and that team that is so efficient will start becoming a little bit less efficient. They'll start getting more frustrated because they're not seeing results of all this massive work that they're doing. They get unenthusiastic. Versus if you take that same goal, right, and you now have another team right next to you who's not as cohesive, who's not as functional, their leadership is okay, they're not bad, they're not as efficient, but their leadership is always measuring, right? And I don't mean KPIs, I do mean a vision. They occasionally get up on top of the tree while their team's cutting it, and they're saying, hey, this is the way we need to go, right? So now that team is going to accomplish their goals a lot faster. And by having a great vision and by having progress, their team now tends to gel together better. They start realizing their core values. They are happier within the company because they're accomplishing things, and they get to their goals a lot faster. So people in life aren't motivated by money. They're not motivated by success. They're motivated by progress, right? And as long as they can see progress towards a goal, people will lay down their life for you. I think somebody somewhere stated a quote, give somebody all the money in the world and they won't give up their life. Give them a shiny medal and they'll give up their life for their country, right? And it's so important to note, because progress, recognition, that's what people really truly want in life. And that's why a vision is so important to have.